I think about earlier in my walk when I first came to Christ, how, in that initial moment, like the next month, it's like I'm on fire. Like I'm reading no problem every morning. I'm praying every morning. I'm praying before I go to bed for like the next month. And then eventually, that fire, that zeal, it dies off. And with that, I stopped. You know what I'm saying? I stopped reading so often. I stopped praying as often as I had. And I realized a change in my life. I realized, sliding back into old ways. I realized it being easier to be tempted and giving into temptation easier because I wasn't um, practicing those spiritual habits. And honestly, dude, that wasn't even for like a couple months. That was like a year, 2 years. That I was just like, I wasn't practicing spiritual habits and I wasn't cultivating my life in God's word. And so over time, it's just like, I would say I was definitely still a Christian. I just wasn't doing a lot of growing. I wasn't growing much because I wasn't spending time with God. The more I got involved with the church is how I grew in a lot of ways, because realizing that the lack of growth that I had was due to the lack of time spent with the Lord. As I realized that and re-picking those spiritual habits back up, re-picking up the Bible and reading consistently, even when I don't feel like it. Because I was like, I read whenever I feel like it. Like if I feel like I need God, or if I feel like, I get some random spiritual high, that's when I read. But then outside of when I'm feeling it, I put it down. I don't use it. But getting that spiritual habit going where it's like I'm reading regardless of how I feel. I'm reading regardless of my circumstance. That's what's really helped me grow. I've realized over time that it's grown into I want to do this because I love the Lord. Like I want to do this because I know what God can do through this. I want to do this because I want God to work in my life, and I know that that's not going to happen if I'm not spending time with Him. It's actually interesting, man. When I came to Christ, I actually didn't really like City Church. Growing up, like I said, I went to church all the time, and I was in majority black churches. So like coming to City Church and it being majority white, I didn't like it. I didn't like the music. I didn't like any of it. But eventually, for me, my love and appreciation for City Church grew because of the people. Like I felt more love at City Church than I have at any church. And that's not to say I went to bad churches that weren't doing well. It's just the first place that I felt love. Like I felt appreciated. Like one time that really sticks out to me is, and this is early on, is like we were having, it was around Christmas time, and I don't know who does decorations, but somebody decorated City Church and they put up the cotton, and it was like raw cotton. And for me, anytime I see raw cotton, it doesn't matter where it is. The first thing I think about is slavery. And for me, I didn't want to walk into church and have to think about slavery, have to think about black people being slaves. And so I talked to Trevor about it. I was like, hey, like this is just how I feel. Like when I see this, and the next day they like took it all down, which I wasn't expecting at all. But to see his love, he was like, look, like I don't want you to feel that when you walk in here. And he was like, I was blind to it. I didn't know that people would see that and feel that way. But thank you for saying that. And because you said it, we're taking it all down. Like we're not gonna have it up. And for me, like that was transformative. Like to see a white person love me in the way that he did, it really grew my love for the church. And in a lot of ways, even like as soon as you walk in the door, you're being greeted. People are talking to you, people are loving on you. And I am a minority at the church, but at the same time, I don't feel that way. I feel a part of a family.